viewers, what a great day. You are welcome to GKA Press News Studio. This is Frank Talk with Eno. I'm your anchor, Eno Jane Kufre Ise. This is a program where we x-ray the major events happening in Global Kids Academy, Sokoto, ranging from sports, cultural activities, curricular activities, and even extracurricular activities. Today, the executive members of the House Student Representative Assembly are meeting again after a 30-day recess to discuss important issues. Our senior correspondent is at the complex. Let's cross over to him. Mr. Ambrose, can you give us an insight on what is happening in the complex?
Or they are discussing what will be the business of the day. I can authoritatively tell you that there are laughters, there are smiles, there are high fives here going up there, here and there. So I think the mood is lively. When you are in the house here or in the complex, definitely somewhere around here you can see some of them are gathered, are discussing. Some of them they are just arriving. I think the mood here is a mood for business of the day. I think they are ready for the business of today. Definitely, we'll just keep our eyes on them and see what will unfold.
Can you confirm to us if the speaker is in complex or has she arrived?
Miss Eno, from what I have seen here, I can definitely confirm. I can cite the majority leader of the house and the minority leader passed by. I can cite the minority leader, but the security architecture within the complex just behind me here doesn't show that the speaker is around, because our security details are more complex than what you have seen around here. But I can tell you that we are keeping an eye on that. Yes, from what I have seen, her car park is also empty. So I can definitely confirm that the speaker of the house have not arrived, even though I cited the deputy just when we were speaking. So as it stands now, the speaker have not arrived, but I will keep you in touch when she arrived the venue.
Okay. As a senior correspondent, has your senior sources disclosed to you the agenda of the day?
My senior sources, my intel, Ms. Eno, sometimes those people are very secretive. But definitely, as I said, the cat must be let out of the bag today. But for now, actually, I was unable to crack my intel, and I did not have a very solid information about the beef for today. But from the mood of the house, I definitely see that whatever is coming up or whatever is cooking is very spicy, very hot, and I think they are going to serve Nigeria and they are going to serve people or you viewers at home very hot, spicy, and delicious deliberation, whatever the case may be today.
Please, we'll keep in touch with you from time to time as the event unfolds.
Thank you very much, Ms. Eno. Just as I said, I will keep you informed from time to time as soon as activities or I see anything that is happening. So I will return back to you to the studio for the continuation of your program and Frank Talk with Eno. For now, I think that will be all. Sorry. I can see movement from the other gate. The other gate, which is the gate that is reserved for the speaker of the, like, definitely the speaker is about to arrive from the other end, which is the official end for the speaker. Definitely, that's correct. I can authoritatively confirm to you that the motorcade of the speaker is just coming in. You can see the entourage. Her entourage is just coming. I think any moment from now, everything activities in the complex now will begin in earnest. Ms. Eno, back to you in the studio.
We will now be switching to the live coverage at the Student Representative Assembly sitting.
all distinguished members and honored guests, gracefully take your seats, please.
The next agenda for the day to be discussed is Speaker's Welcome Address.
Thank you, Clerk. I would like to welcome all honorable members, all distinguished honorable members, and the guests we have today. You are all welcome to yet another thrilling and exciting session today. I trust you are all ready for today. Clerk, please go on with the next agenda for the day.
The next Right Honorable Speaker Ma, the next agenda for the day to be discussed is adoption of the agenda by Honorable Majority Leader and Minority Leader.
Majority Leader, please adopt for the agenda for the day.
Right Honorable Speaker Ma, I still remain the Majority Leader of this Honorable House. I hereby move the motion of the agenda of the day. Thank you, ma'am.
Right Honorable Speaker, I, Honorable Abdullahi Fauzia, the Minority Leader from the MEP Party representing Kaduna State, move to second to the adoption of the business of the day.
Thank you, Honorable Minority Leader. On a bill for an act to fine parents for students indiscipline in school, as co-sponsored by able Minority and Majority Leader in the person of Honorable Fauzia Abdullahi and Honorable Halima Chika. So I would like to call on the Minority Leader to begin with the presentation of the bill.
A bill for an act to fine parents on their children's misbehavior in school. Righteous leader, indispensable leader, respectable and gallant leader, Right Honorable Speaker Ma, I still remain Honorable Fauzia Abdullahi, the able and standing Minority Leader of this House, from the MEP Party representing the most lovely people of Kaduna State. Section 1, purpose of the bill. Right Honorable Speaker Ma, this bill aims to establish a framework where parents are held responsible for their child's breaking of school rules. It seeks to promote a stronger partnership between parents, students, and educational institutions to ensure a conducive learning environment to all students. Section 2, definition. Students' disobedience of school rules refers to any violation of established school policies, codes of conduct, or regulations that result in disciplinary actions or consequences for the students. Right Honorable Speaker Ma, if this bill is passed into law, parents shall be responsible for their child's disobedience of school rules, and any disciplinary actions resulting from violation shall trigger the imposition of a fine. The fine shall be determined by the educational institution and may vary depending on the severity and frequency of the violation, which shall trigger the payment of the stipulated fine. Right Honorable Speaker Ma, the fee or fine collected shall be used to support additional resources and programs aimed at improving discipline, behavior, and overall learning environments within the educational institution. Right Honorable Speaker Ma, failure to comply with the fee requirements outlined in this bill, when passed, shall result in further disciplinary measures on the students, which may include suspension, expulsion, or other appropriate actions as determined by the school. Madam Speaker Ma, if all of the above are applied, the rate of disobedience of the school rules will be reduced. Students wouldn't want their parents to be aware of their bad behaviors, talk less of being asked to pay a fine. Secondly, parents will take how their children act more seriously, thereby cautioning how they dress before leaving the house. Furthermore, the fund derived from the disobedient students will be used to rehabilitate the students. Right Honorable Speaker Ma, I hereby hand over to the Majority Leader, Honorable Abubakar Halima Chika, who is also a co-sponsor of the bill, to present her arguments. Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Minority Leader. Majority Leader, please continue.
Right Honorable Speaker Ma, my distinguished colleagues, I still remain the Majority Leader of this Honorable House. From the FDP Party, representing the great people of Oyo State. Right Honorable Speaker Ma, I am still the unshakable and also at the same time the unbribable Majority Leader of this Honorable House. I would like to thank the Honorable Minority Leader on her wonderful contribution on this bill. Madam Speaker, I am fully in support of this bill and have decided not only to support the bill, but co-sponsor the bill with my able minority leader. Although we are from different parties, but we came to an agreement because of this bill. So, I will therefore continue where the minority leader stopped. Madam Speaker, discipline is an essential aspect of any educational institution. It is the foundation of a healthy learning environment that fosters academic excellence, personal growth, and social development. However, despite the best effort of teachers and administrators, student indiscipline remains a persistent problem in many schools and colleges. Student indiscipline refers to any behavior that violates the school regulations of the institution, disrupts the learning process, or harms the well-being of others. It can take any forms, such as bullying, cheating, vandalism, truancy, substance abuse, and also violence. These behaviors not only affect the individual, but also have a negative impact on the entire school community. Right Honorable Speaker, one of the main causes of indiscipline is a lack of parental involvement. It is easy to blame indiscipline on external factors such as peer pressure, societal norms, or even the school environment. Right Honorable Speaker, however, it is important to acknowledge that parents play a significant role in shaping their children's behavior and attitude towards discipline. I will want to explore why parents are responsible for students' indiscipline. Firstly, parents are the primary caregivers and role models for their children. Children learn by observing and imitating their parents' behavior. If parents exhibit indiscipline in their daily lives, such as being late for appointments, not following rules, or engaging in unethical behavior, their children are likely to follow suit. Therefore, parents must lead by example and demonstrate the importance of discipline in their actions. Right Honorable Speaker, the causes of indiscipline in schools can, in the first place, be traced to the family background of the student. As you know, Right Honorable Speaker, and my fellow colleagues, charity is said to begin at home. Family upbringing is the foundation of the child's character. The moral fiber and behavior of an individual speak volumes about the type of training given him at home. Take insubordination, for example. It can be traced to pampering and overindulging of the child at home by the parents. Children from such a background find it difficult to obey simple school regulations. They cannot bear the control that contrasts with the permissiveness experienced at home. Right Honorable Speaker, another form of indiscipline which has defied solution is examination malpractice. This is often blamed on the dishonesty of the individual. But the real problem is the family's failure to inculcate in the child the virtues and benefits of hard work. It cannot be denied that indiscipline in schools has far-reaching consequences for society at large. The school brings up most of our leaders. So, the corrupt and dishonest leaders of tomorrow are the students who cheat in examinations and wantonly break school regulations today. It is therefore important to curb the spate of indiscipline in our schools. And it is my belief that once the parent takes more responsibility for their children, indiscipline will be curtailed, and failure shall equally attract extended punishment to the parent. It is on this note that I suggest the following. That in the event of a student disobedience of school rule, the school may impose a discipline fee on the parents. The student discipline fee shall be a reasonable and proportional amount determined by the educational institution, taking into unique consideration of the severity of the offense and its impact on the school, community, and also a clear guideline and procedure for determining when a student discipline fee is applicable, as well as the process for issuing the fee and any opportunity for appeal shall be determined by the educational institution. Right Honorable Speaker, the purpose of the student discipline fee is to reinforce the importance of respecting school rules and regulations, promoting discipline, and ensuring a safe and orderly learning environment. The fees serves as a deterrent against student misconduct, encouraging students to abide by the established code of conduct and forcing a sense of responsibility for their action. Right Honorable Speaker, the revenue generated from the students' discipline fee shall be allocated towards the school, such as implementing programs to enhance student discipline, providing resources for student support services, or improving school infrastructure. Right Honorable Speaker, the expectations and considerations are: the school institution shall exercise discretion in applying the student discipline fee, taking into unique circumstances of each case and the best interests of the student. In cases where imposing a student discipline fee will cause undue financial hardship for the parents, alternative measures such as community services or counseling may be considered in consultation with the parents and the school authority. Right Honorable Speaker, the school shall respect the principle of fairness, equity, and due process when implementing student discipline fee, ensuring truancy and providing parents with a clear explanation of the reasons behind the fee. Madam Speaker, in case of grievance arising from the indiscipline fee, there shall be a clear mechanism to address this dispute. If any of this act is found to be invalid, it shall not affect the remaining provision of this act, which shall remain in full force and effect. Right Honorable Speaker, in conclusion, this bill aims to establish a framework for educational institutions to impose a student discipline fee on parents for the child's disobedience of the school rules. By implementing the fee, schools can reinforce discipline, encourage accountability, and maintain a conducive learning environment. Right Honorable Speaker, my distinguished colleagues, I hope you all agree with me by hearing this bill. And I would like to hand over to my able minority leader to say the prayers. Madam Speaker, I so submit.
Wow. Honorable Majority Leader, thank you for that powerful presentation. Minority Leader, please continue.
Right Honorable Speaker, my prayers are: Prayer 1, disobedience or disrespect to teacher. Any student who disrespects a teacher should be given an in-school suspension. If it repeats for 3 times, such a student shall be suspended for 1 week with a fine of 3,000 naira imposed on the parents. Prayer 2, inattention/apathy to studies. Example, playing in class, sleeping, not doing assignments shall have a fine of 300 naira imposed on the parents. Prayer 3, needless talks during lessons. Any student involved in any needless talk during lesson, thereby distracting one or more person, shall have a fine of 200 naira imposed on the parents and the student sent out of the class immediately. Prayer 4, lying in any form. Any student caught lying in any form, either to escape punishment, deceive a teacher, or a fellow student, shall have a fine of 200 naira imposed on the parents, and the students must make a public apology on a Monday assembly to the whole school. Prayer 5, inability to account for textbooks and notebooks. Any student who is unable to provide all his notebooks and textbooks during an unscheduled inspection shall be put under detention in the school library to recopy all the notes, and a fine of 500 naira imposed on the parent. Prayer 6, stealing. A student caught in the act of stealing must refund what was stolen, and the parents pay a fine of twice the market value of the stolen item. Such a student must sign an undertaking never to steal again or risk expulsion and possible prosecution. Prayer 7. Examination malpractice. Any student involved in examination malpractice, the subjects in which he was caught cheating must be cancelled without a retake of the examination. Also, depending on the magnitude of the offense, the examination office shall deduct 10 marks from all subjects so far written, with a fine of 1,000 naira imposed on the parents. Prayer 8. Sexual harassment or exposure. Any students who involved in illicit sexual behavior, including use of vulgar language, touching of the opposite gender inappropriately, having sexually explicit materials with him or her, shall have a fine of 3,000 naira imposed on the parents, and the students must undergo a 1-week rehabilitation course after each school day. Prayer 9. Fighting. Oppressor versus oppressed. Any student who physically attack another student, first hearing refers to as the oppressor, shall have a fine of 700 naira imposed on the parents. The student who is attacked, hearing referred to as the oppressed, shall be liable to pay a fine of 300 naira if and only if he or she retaliates. If the oppressor causes any bodily harm to a student, the parents will cover the full cost of the treatment in a hospital of the choice of the oppressed. Prayer 10. Malicious mischief. Any student who involved in malicious mischief, which may include but not limited to destroying other students' properties, hiding people's notes, shall have a fine of 1,000 naira imposed on the parents with the replacement of the item. Prayer 11. Defiance of authority. Any student who disobeys any of the members of the constituted authority in the school, including school prefects, security, school mommy, drivers, shall have a fine of 1,000 naira imposed on the parents, and the student shall take over the duties of the person affected for the day, except for driving. Prayer 12. Bullying. A student who bully another student shall have a fine of 500 naira imposed on the parent, and the student shall be made to act as a personal assistant to the student for 1 week. Prayer 13. Prayer 13. Unsafe/violent conduct. Any students who involve in any violent act shall have a fine of 200 naira imposed on the parents and any other punishment based on the magnitude of the offense. Prayer 14. Possession of prohibited items. Any student caught with prohibited items like phones, sharp objects, pornography, MP3, etc. shall have the items seized and pay a fine of 1,000 naira imposed on the parents. Prayer 15. Damaging of school properties. Any students who damage school property shall replace 2 of the items damaged, and a cautionary fee of 5,000 naira be imposed on the parents. Prayer 16. Lateness to school. Any student who is late to school shall have a fine of 300 naira imposed on the parents. Prayer 17. Improper dressing. Any students who violate the school dressing code shall have a fine of 700 naira imposed on the parents and the wrong item confiscated. Prayer 18. Skipping extra lessons. Any students who paid for extra lessons and skipped without permission shall have a fine of 500 naira imposed on them. Prayer 19. Copying assignments. Any student who copied an assignment from another student shall both have a fine of 200 naira imposed on the parents and automatically be scored 0. Prayer 20. Eating and drinking in class. Any student caught eating in the class shall have his or her food confiscated and have a fine of 300 naira imposed on the parents. Prayer 21. Misbehavior during transit in school bus. Any student who misbehaves during transit in school bus shall have a fine of 1,000 naira imposed on the parents and the students suspended from using the bus for 1 week. Prayer 22. Use of school uniform at home. Any student cited with the use of school uniform at home shall have a fine of 500 naira imposed on the parents of that student. Prayer 23. Use of drugs. Students who are involved in the usage of drugs shall have a fine of 5,000 naira imposed on the parents, and the students will have to undergo a 1-month rehabilitation. Right Honorable Speaker, those are my prayers, and I so submit.
Thank you, Able, unshakable. Clerk, please collect. Thank you. Thank you, Able Minority. Thank you, Able, Unbribable, and Unshakable Minority and Majority Leader, Honorable Fauzia Abdullahi and Halima Chika. So they both believe that parents are solely responsible for how children behave in school. Honorable members, distinguished members of the House, do you believe that parents are solely responsible for how children misbehave in school? Order. I would like to hear your arguments for or against the promotion of this bill. The floor is hereby open for deliberation.
I greet you, Right Honorable Speaker, and my fellow honorable colleagues. I, Honorable Testimony Ajayi, representing Adamawa State of Party FDP, is here to boldly support and totally concur to the bill presented by the majority and minority leader. Firstly, on the basis of drug abuse, when a student abuses drug, that child will not focus on his study, or will that child be serious in class? No. In fact, most children abuse drug and misbehave in school because their parents do not pay attention to them. Their parents do not pay attention to the friends they keep, the places they go, and so on, and which can expose such children negatively to the public and can influence such children in abusing drugs. Right Honorable Speaker, these drugs I'm talking about may not be likely cocaine or cannabis or so on. These drugs can be Lacasera and Mentos. It can be coke and tom-tom and so on. Right Honorable Speaker, my fellow honorable colleagues, can you imagine a student in a school I don't want to mention who smuggles 20 packs of cigarettes to school every week and sells it to his fellow students? Yes, we know it's influencing them. But have you considered how we got such amount of money to buy such amount of drugs to influence his fellow students? Well, he may have probably gotten it from stealing from either his parents or the public, or probably his parents giving him monthly or weekly allowances but not knowing what he spends it on. So when those parents who do not take responsibility of their children are fined 2 or 3 times, they will wake up to their responsibility. My fellow honorable colleagues, isn't it true that disciplined children come from disciplined home, and undisciplined children come from an undisciplined home?
Thank you, Honorable Testimony. He suggested that parents should monitor how their children use the income or the allowance given to them so that they will not start buying drugs and sharing them in school, which might lead the parents having to pay a fine. The floor is still open for deliberation. Honorable Yazid, please give us your contribution.
Right Honorable Speaker, distinguished members of the House, I rise today as a proud member of the MEP party representing the great state of Bauchi, the Pearl of Tourism. I strongly disagree with what Honorable Testimony has to say. I don't believe that finding parents is the answer. There are a number of factors that could contribute to a child's misbehavior, and parents are not always to blame. For example, a child may misbehave if he's struggling with a learning disability. Children with learning disability often feel frustrated and overwhelmed with schoolwork. I would like to propose this theory. If the school should fine parents for their child's misbehavior, then isn't it right for parents to ask for a refund or fine the school when their child fails? Isn't it? For example, if you go to the market and buy a product and you find out it is damaged, won't you ask for a refund or will you just keep it? Moreover, finding parents could have a number of negative consequences on them. It could put a financial strain on them and discourage parents from engaging in their child's learning. I know some of you might say that 200 naira, 300 naira cannot put a financial strain on parents. Well, there are fines of 5,000, 1,000 there. They could also put a financial stress on parents. I would like to mention one thing about the prayers. It says there's need prayer too, need less talks. Well, the students will be fined 200 and then sent out of the class. When they're distracted in the class at first, why send them out after? Why not take them to the seat, to the front where they can focus? Honorable testimony, you said that other drugs like Mentos and Lacasera can be abused. Well, are you trying to say because it is cheap? I don't see how that's the fault of the parents. The affordability of drugs are determined by a number of factors, and parents have little control over these factors. With this, I believe I urge us to vote against this because I find it not only illogical, but laughable. I so submit.
Thank you, Honorable Yazid. He said that there are other factors that cause children to misbehave in school, which is why parents should not be blamed, should not be the only ones blamed for how their children behave in school. He also works on the principle of do me, I do you, tit for tat. If you find the parents for children misbehavior, also find the school for children failing their exams. Do you all agree with him? Okay, order. I will still listen to your arguments. The floor is still open for deliberation. Honorable Fauzia, give us your contribution.
Right, Honorable Mayor, respected Honorables of the House, I, Honorable Fauzia Sadiq Sahabi, representing the peaceful people of Borno State of MEP Party, disagree with what Honorable Yazid said. He made mention of children having disabilities, but you did not mention which kind of disabilities actually. Disabilities like what? Disabilities like what? Is it that there are students who are dull? No, we don't have dull students. Or are all of you dull? You guys are not dull. We all have our own ways of understanding things. So that doesn't mean that, okay, let's say two students are dull. If a child is able to have E, which is what in global kills 50, at least he puts his knowledge into writing something which made him to get the E. It doesn't mean that he's dull. He just doesn't understand some parts which made him to fail. And nowadays, we know this is a technological world. The students have access to internet, but the problem is that they lack parent supervision. Their parents do not supervise what they do with the technology. And then they start having male friends and female friends which are too close to them more than their parents. And then temptation. You are not old enough to have a relationship, and then you start having relationships whereby you become sexually harassed or you expose your body to the opposite sex. And then your parents pay a fine of 3,000 naira. It's not your fault, it's their fault. Because if they really supervise what you did with the internet, you really won't have made the mistake of doing sexual exposure. And then when you start having female friends or male friends that are too close to you, become distracted you become less focused on your education, and then you become a culprit in examination malpractice. And when you are caught, you are being blamed. No, it's not your fault, it's your parents' fault. Because I believe that before then, the school had made sure that the parents and the students both know when the examination will start and end. And the subjects you are having, when you are having them, at the time they begin and end. So when you engage yourself in examination malpractice and then you are being caught, the question that should be asked is, how responsible are your parents? Did they supervise you? Did they read with you? Did they encourage you? If they actually did so, then you won't engage yourself in examination malpractice. And Right Honorable Ma, I believe that examination malpractice, the fine should be increased because 1,000 is too small. And I also would like to contribute that apart from paying this fine, they should also be brought on the assembly floor, and the school should make the other students know the kind of crime they committed, the kind of offense they committed, and so they will serve as a scapegoat and examples to other students. Right Honorable Ma, I believe that this bill should be considered and passed into law to meet.
Thank you, Honorable Fauzia. She claimed that no student is too dull to learn, right? And I can see that most members agree with her. She said that children without parental supervision start to misbehave in school because of the ignorance their parents show them. So, do you all agree with that? At least that is what I made out from what she said. So from this, I would like to urge other members speaking, please be more precise with your points so that other members can contribute. Because these were the only points I could get from what she said. So the floor is still open for deliberation, but try to be more precise. Honorable Asma'u.
Honorable Speaker, my respected honorable colleagues, I am still Honorable Asma Abdurrahman of FDP party representing the great people of Imo State. Well, you all know in this life, if you speak the truth, you die. Is it not so? If you tell a lie, you die. So I, standing on my 2 feet, chose to speak the truth and I will not die. I know the truth is always bitter. All right, Honorable Fauzia, you said using mobile phones leads to examination malpractice and it is the parents' fault. Can you imagine, how can you blame another person's mistake for another person? How? How is it possible? For example, in a class, they will all ask you, okay, exam is coming, you should sit down and read your books. After finish reading, maybe you don't understand anything. You make a connection with your friends to, okay, you will sit here, I'll sit here, and we'll do examination. How will you blame the parents? How? And the fine is to fine parents 1,000. What is 1,000? Is the school broke, looking for money? Imagine. For example, we have like 150 SS3 students. All of them are gone. We only have 85 students because of examination. This school is not even engaged in examination malpractice for WAEC. The school is to give answer for WAEC. Most of the students are leaving the school to go to another school and pay money and do examination malpractice and pass the house. So why would the school find a parent for a child doing examination malpractice? What is 1,000? Imagine, 1,000. Sexual harassment, boyfriend and girlfriend. Wow. I so clap. Wow. How can you blame the parent for a child having a male student? Is it not from school everything starts? Is it not the teacher's fault? How will you blame the parents? And the teacher will not even talk. Oh, it's just friends, they are friends. Which kind of nonsense and rubbish is that? I think this teacher should be blamed for that nonsense. In a Yoruba house, who born you to do that kind of nonsense? And you are still blaming them. How will they blame the parents? How? Right, Honorable Speaker, Ma. I am Honorable Asma Abdurrahman, standing on my 2 feet, and I'm telling you that this bill should be dismissed. I so submit.
For that powerful presentation, that contribution was wonderful. Madam says she wants to talk and leave. I hope the supporters of this bill will let her leave after this powerful point she has brought up. She said that the only reason why children even have the chance to misbehave is because they come to school, because they are allowed to do whatever they want to do. If they were at home, their parents wouldn't allow them to do so. How many of you agree with that? Okay, I would still like to hear your arguments. So the floor is open for deliberation. Arguments? Please give us your argument.
Ms. Speaker, I am Honorable Hamuda Keneke, representing the big heart of Nigeria, which is Delta State. I am totally in support of this motion which is sponsored by the majority and minority leader, because parents are partly the reason why children misbehave in school. For instance, dressing improper to school, stealing, and so on. If you dress improper to school, it is not your fault, because it's your parent that dressed you to school. For example, primary students, it's their parent that dressed them to school. You can see a primary child wearing colored socks, and if you ask the child who gave you the socks, they don't have money to buy the socks. It's their parent that buy the socks for them. So why will the child be blamed? It's the parent that is to be blamed. But if parents were meant to pay a fine, no child, they will check their children before coming out, and will make sure that child are in check, because they won't want to pay any sum of amount of fine. So, Ms. Speaker, I am in truly support of this bill. And again, theft. Parents are totally the reason why children steal in school. It could either be from inheritance, thoughts, or lack of good upbringing. And sometimes it may be a disease, kleptomaniac. Some people have this disease, that's an urge to steal. And if you want to fill a form in our school, in Global Kids Academy, they'll tell you to write, if a child has any disabilities, that you should write it down. So if your child has kleptomaniac, the school will know, so you won't pay a fine, because the school already know it's part of you. But for those that are inherited and for those that are taught, they should surely pay a fine, because of how will you be, like for example, if they store your notes in school, you'll be the one copying your notes is being stolen, you'll be copying the notes again. Why the person that stole your notes will just be sitting down happy because he or she won't have to copy the notes again. This is injustice, this is unfair. But if your parents were meant to pay a fine, will you be stealing? No, you won't, because you know that you will surely be dead if you go back home. So, Ms. Speaker, I am in total support of this bill. So I will want you to consider this bill and let it be passed into law, because parents are totally at fault and are the reason why children misbehave in school. Ms. Speaker, I so submit. I am in total support of this bill, because parents are totally the reason why children misbehave in school. For instance, dressing improperly to school, stealing, and so on. Parents are totally at fault.
Thank you, Honorable Kairat. She urged us to consider this bill to be passed to the second reading because of parents' ignorance. She said, if not for parents' ignorance, children will behave better in school. But parents tend to ignore how their children behave at home, and then they take that habit to school. So thank you for that contribution. Any other opinions for today? Honorable Minority Leader.
Right, Honorable Speaker, I would like to counter what Honorable Asmau said. Honorable Asmau said that half of the population of our SS3 students in GK left the school. Please, because of examination malpractice. Please, if 88 students are left in the school, what happened to the remaining 72 students? Right, Honorable Speaker, is it not the parents of the students that removed them from the school and took them to another school in order for them to write their external exams for them? Or am I wrong? Is it the teachers that removed them from the school, or their parents? Their parents. So the parents are the ones to be blamed for the examination malpractice, not the school. Thank you. I so submit.
Thank you, Minority Honorable Mufida. Please give us your opinion.
Right, Honorable Speaker, and my distinguished colleagues. I am Honorable Mufida from the MEP party representing the diaspora, and I'm proudly standing as the spokesperson of this legislative chamber. Right, Honorable Speaker, I totally disagree with what the unshakable and the unbribables have to say about this so-called bill. The prayers are not even valid. I don't see how the school should find a parent when his or her child wears uniform at home. How would the school know? How will they know? Is it the parents that have to come and tell the school that my child wears uniform at home, so I came to pay fine for it? Or a child that eats in class. How would their parents know they eat in class? How is that the parents' fault? Did they tell them that please don't eat during break, eat after break? Did they tell them to do that? So where should they be held responsible for it? Or a child that sleeps in class. When their parents are outside hustling for money and they're sleeping in class, and then their parents will come and pay fine for them again. Are they supposed to come and slap their faces and make them open their eyes when they don't know what is going on? It is just because the teacher cannot control the class. If the teacher can control the class, there's no way the child will sleep during his or her classes. And that set aside, Honorable Kayat said that parents dress us to school and they should monitor us. I could agree with her that some students are dressed by their parents, but most are not dressed by their parents. My parents don't dress me to school. I wear my uniform by myself. And during assemblies, the students are told not to wear so stuff and that they'll be confiscated. Where would they wear it? If their parents give them black socks, does that mean they cannot afford white socks? That they came and gave them black socks to wear? You have uniform, you have socks, and you decided to come like that. You are not deaf, you are not dumb, no matter how young you are. And you decided to come to school dressed the way you are. And your parents are still blamed for it. Some students deliberately dress improperly to provoke prefects or teachers, or just to, I don't know, for some nonsensical reason. And on the aspect of theft, a student that steals should be flogged mercilessly, admit to apologize. Not the one that his parents will come and bail him out, because that's what it seems like. Your parents will come and bail you out of your crime. Isn't this what goes on in your country? A person will come and steal, and the person will be bailed out. They will tell you that he's in prison while he's in another better place. Isn't this what goes on in the country? So, I don't see how parents will be held responsible all the time. And in the prayers, I didn't hear anything like teachers should be fined. All I heard was parents. Parents should be fined. Parents should be fined. If a teacher comes late to his or her class, shouldn't the parents fine the teacher? If a teacher insults a student's appearance or the looks of the student, shouldn't the teacher be fined? If a teacher sleeps in class, shouldn't the teacher be fined? Yes. So I don't see how it is parents are being held responsible. We should make students understand that if they do something wrong, they should be made to take responsibility for it. That's the only way of instilling discipline. Not the one that the school is focusing on whose fault is this, not focusing on the students. That's Honorable Speaker, ma'am. I believe that if teachers cannot be fined for their own mistakes, then parents should also be fined for the misbehavior of their children, because they are not the ones that did this, but the students. That Honorable Speaker, I'm in total disagreement with the bill proposed by the minority and the majority leader, and I believe that they should please come up with sensible and valid prayers. That Honorable Speaker, I hereby submit.
Thank you, Honorable Mufida. She gave many reasons why this prayer seems very illogical to her. They seem like a big waste of time for her. She also said that this bill, or from what I got from what she said this bill will make the students have the attitude of money stop nonsense. Do you all understand what I'm saying? Yes. Money stop nonsense. If I break vase, they will pay for me. If I skip assembly, they will pay for me. If I steal, they will pay for me. So the children start to believe they can do whatever it is they want. That is what she meant, right? So thank you very much, Honorable Mufida. Does anybody want to support or counter her? Honorable Deputy Speaker, give us your opinion, please.
Right, Honorable Speaker. I remain your able deputy, Honorable Olusegun Israel, representing the good people of Abia State from MEP Party. Right, Honorable Speaker, I consider what Honorable Mufida said to be vain. It does not hold water. And in fact, I consider it to be a stupendous ignoramus intente. Don't ask me to explain. Because she said parents will come to ask to find students. It just acts like telling them to bill their student for stealing. But finding of parents is not only to bill them, but to tell the parents of their children's acts in school. Because many children, they are even scared of their parents than God. They cannot do what they cannot do something in the presence of their parents. There are some things they do when their parents are not around, things they do when their parents are there. So this finding of parents is not just to come and be paying money that, okay, my child do something and I'm coming to pay, but also pass information to the parents that so and so is the misbehavior and the act of your children in school. Right, Honorable Speaker, let us come to a scenario whereby children are rude to teachers. For example, there was something that happened in this school when a parent slapped a teacher in the school because of face mask. And now you will not tell those children, she did it in front of her children, and the children are misbehaving to the teachers. So can you say one day that child will not grow up one day to slap her teacher? It's not possible, because children, as Honorable Ajayi said, Honorable Testimony said, he said, disciplined children come from disciplined home, and undisciplined children come from undisciplined home. So if you raise your children well, they will not come to school and do something bad. Right, Honorable Speaker, children who disobeyed authorities might have started disobeying authority from home. And Right, Honorable Speakers, if parents are beginning to be fined because of their children's misbehavior in school, they'll wake up and have sense and begin to correct their children. Because if they are not correcting their children, that's when we grow up to see adults that don't have sense. You come out today, you see adults without good manner of approach. So, Right, Honorable Speaker, I think this bill should be passed into law. In fact, if I'm a parent and a child talk to me in a bad manner, I will give that child a brain factory setting slap. In fact, at least we all know that they are selling bulala in the market. We should branch those 3-mouth sellers. If you wipe them 2 times, the child will have sense and begin to do the right things. So, Right, Honorable Speaker, I think this bill should be passed into law at the first stroke of your cover, because I don't see the way that teachers should be fined in such kind of thing. You say teachers should be fined if they sleep in class. Why didn't you tell that your parents should be fined if they sleep at home? Because teachers have other things to do. I'm sure many of you, the teachers teach you lesson. So after working for such hours, and you expect them to come and act as strong as they are instead of resting. If it's you, won't you sleep? But we are just students. All we are asked to do are just to come to school. You go home, most of you just go home, sit down and start using your phones that you're not supposed to have until when you're up to 18 years. Yes, according to law, if you are not up to 18 years, you're not meant to have phones. Yes. So, Right, Honorable Speaker, I think this bill should be passed to law. At the first stroke of your cover, I so submit.
Thank you, able Deputy Speaker. Distinguished members, any member under 18 years, please come and submit your phones. Come and submit your phones. Our Deputy Speaker said, according to the law of his country, anybody under the age of 18 years should not own a phone. So please come and submit your phone after the session. He also said that parents, being the role model of their children, if they start to misbehave, of course the children will follow suit and start to misbehave. Can you imagine a newborn in the presence of his parents? They're always fighting, always fighting, always fighting. He grows up, he becomes an adolescent. You do the same thing now. Don't you agree? At least that's what he said. I'm not saying from my mind, I'm just recapping what he said. Okay. He also he suggested to our parents to please patronize the blala sellers in the market. So it will aid the discipline, so that the children will not become immoral and unmannered citizens in the society. Thank you very much, Deputy Speaker. I would like to call on another member for opinion. Honorable Treasurer Udwehi, please give us your opinion.
Right, Honorable Speaker, my fellow honorables, I am Honorable Treasurer Udwehi from the Mass Emancipation Party, which is MEP, representing Kwara State. I find this bill very illogical. Why should parents be the one to pay fines Why should parents be the ones to pay fine for their child's misbehavior? Okay, I agree that the school and the parents, they play a good role in the upbringing of a child. But why should they use that opportunity? Why should they make that opportunity a way of extorting money from the parents? Yes, we are in a financial crisis era where everybody is looking for money to survive. The government removed the fuel subsidy, and now he's also removing the electricity subsidy. Now, everybody is looking for money to survive. You are not coming to add that they should be paying fine for their child's misbehavior. They are already paying money. They are already paying money for their child's school fees. And the money, I know by next term now, the money would have increased a lot. Now you're telling them they should come and add paying fine for their child's misbehavior. No. Does this sound reasonable to you, honorable members? Yes. Does it?
Order. Continue.
It doesn't sound reasonable. And Honorable Kairat, you said something on multicolored socks, children wearing multicolored socks. Okay, take a situation. Okay, take a scenario where the child wears the multicolored socks first, then wears a white socks. How is the parent supposed to know that the child wore a multicolored socks to school? The child will come to school and remove the socks and be walking up and down with it. Then the teacher will see the child, will not tell the child that you should remove the socks. They will not call the parents. Like if it's me that you call me from, I'm working at the office, and you call me and tell me that my child is wearing multicolored socks and I should come and pay money, I'll tell you that you should do the right thing. Aren't you supposed to know that the right thing is to collect the socks rather than finding the parents for the child wearing colored socks? And Honorable Israel, you said that children did, what did you even say? Children something, Children obey their parents. Okay, take a scenario where that the child is always obeying the parents at home, doing everything good, and now comes to school and gets influenced by negative peers. How is the parent supposed to know that he came to school and started disobeying the school authorities and teachers? How is the parent supposed to know? Okay, now, it's not actually the parents' fault, because the parents who drive to school, drop the child, you now come and call the parents that the parents come and pay fine. It doesn't even make sense. Honorable Speaker, I find this bill very laughable, because even when you listen to it, parents should pay fine for their child's misbehavior. It doesn't sound reasonable. Honorable Speaker, I so submit. Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Treasurer. She said that in this hardship era, this financial hardship era, anyways, she said that where everybody is looking for money, everybody is hustling, you will now come to the parents from the small money they are gathering to pay school fees. You now add more again for fine because of multicolored socks or making noise in class or eating food. All these many excuses, you ask them to pay fines. So she also said that how are the parents supposed to know? Because as they carry the matter of the children at home and they drop them in school, after paying school fees, they have become the teacher's problem, the management's problem. The school are now the one taking care of them until when they come to pick them again. According to her, that is what she says. And also, according to her, the bill is illogical. So does anybody want to talk against her or support her notion? Honorable Hajara, 1 minute, please.
I am Honorable Hajara, representing Bayelsa State, and also I'm from the FDP party. Why would parents be at fault of their children's misbehaviors at schools? I see no reason why parents should be at fault. Firstly, if it is me, it's better for me to have a female friend than to have a male friend. Ask me why. Okay, you ask me why, right? I will answer the question. You know, females, they know how to gossip very well. Am I right? Yes. If you tell your female friend one thing, she will share it to everybody in this world. Am I right? Yes. So, you have not, or you did not start saying how the world is. That's why you're saying some. Your friend did not betray you before, okay? Okay? As I was saying, and Honorable Israel, I don't even know what to say about him. For him wasting his time.
The whole deputy speaker.
For him
continue
wasting his time talking blah 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 rubbish about parents.
Wow.
It's better for him to sit down at home and rest.
Go and take a hike.
I don't even know what to say. Honorable, you are the deputy speaker, but you are saying some stuff about parents. Nonsense. You are saying that parents have to pay the fine because even them, they are sleeping at home. What is your concern with parents? Your parents have already hustled. They went to the office since in the morning. Because of you, they want to pay school fees for you. And you are saying that parents too should be pay fine for. At school, you are saying,
Honorable Hajara, we want words, not exclamations, please.
Okay. Israel, what you say is just nonsense. For you talking about this bill, parents should pay fine. It's better for you to just even leave the chair of the deputy speaker. And also, Honorable Fauzia, you are talking about the stuff about boyfriend and girlfriend. Parents have to pay a fine. Is it 1,000? What is 1,000 in this generation? What is 1,000 in this generation? If it is even like 5,000, I would say like 5,000 is something.
Honorable Hajara, just give us your star points, please. You want to leave this?
If the school say that a parent have to pay a fine for his child, why will parent be at fine? Where did the relationship begin? It begins at home or at school?
Order, let her speak.
Some of you that are saying it begins at home. At home, where did you even... I know many of you don't have phones here. At home, many of you don't have phones. Am I right? Yes. At home, where did you see a male to talk to? I know, your area. Cousin.
You seem to be dwelling on the same points. Just give one more point and conclude.
This is just the facts. Everybody know it. Okay. Females are created because of the males, and also the males are created because of the females. This blah blah blah, they are talking about the female. This is just, instead of you talking about this fine, whatever, just because if you are paying fine tomorrow, this school will be corrupt. Do you want your school to be corrupt? No. Please, even if you are going to stand for 4,000 years, reading this bill, sending it through, blah, 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 I will never support it. Because I see no reason why parents should pay fines. Thank you, I so submit.
Much for that contribution. I'm so surprised. We finished under 2 minutes, right? Okay. Thank you. She said that if you are not careful here, she would move for the sacking of the deputy speaker, because what he said seems illogical and unreasonable to her. Honorable Hajara, she also said that why are some people saying that relationship starts at home? That is in school they start their relationships, he said. Learning from you. Just okay. Thank you. The floor is open for deliberation still. Honorable Aisha, give us.
Madam Speaker and my fellow honorables, I greet you all. I am Honorable Aisha, representing the Federal Capital Territory, Abuja, from the MEP party. I am in total agreement of the bill that Honorable Minority and Majority Leader proposed. It is true that parents are at fault of their children's misbehaviors in school. E.g., examination malpractice, indiscipline, lateness, bullying, sleeping in class, and so on. Madam Speaker, ma'am, sometimes children are being woken up by themselves or sometimes woken up by their parents just to get dressed and get ready, but instead they will have to wait for their parents to get dressed an hour or so just to drop off them at school and zoom off without any excuse or an apology to the teachers or school. Madam Speaker, ma'am, if the parents were to pay the sum of 300 naira more than once, I'm telling you, Madam Speaker, ma'am, your daddy will be waiting for you in the car, blowing horn just for you to come out because he doesn't want to pay that money anymore. Madam Speaker, ma'am, why will your child come to school and bully other people just to enjoy him or herself? It must have started from home. Maybe bullying his sisters and brothers, neighbors, and so on. Madam Speaker, ma'am, you are at home and you are seeing your child doing such thing and you are not correcting him. Madam Speaker, is it love or hatred? For me, I think it's hatred because your own biological child, and you're not correcting him doing such thing. Madam Speaker, if that child was to come to school and do such acts, and his parents were to be called and to be paid a sum of 1,000 naira, Madam Speaker, whenever that parent sees his child doing such, he will be corrected and he will put a full stop in his behaviors. Madam Speaker, who does not want this bill to pass is a criminal. He's one of the latecomers. He's one of the bullies. Madam Speaker.
Sorry, is it not criminal? Or are you trying to pronounce another word? Okay, just let her continue, as if you people didn't make mistakes. Continue.
Madam Speaker, I want this bill to have flying wings so that parents can control, I want this bill to have flying wings and pass so that parents can see their mistakes and they should correct themselves and say that they are at fault of their children's misbehaviors in school. Thank you, I so submit.
Honorable Aisha, what I got from your presentation, I think you meant that if you want to communicate with a Nigerian man, just put money in the matter. Once you pay once, twice, thrice, we're waiting for you. In fact, they'll be chasing you from the house. So I think it's a bit harsh to use the word hatred. I don't think it's because of hatred your parents are delaying you or not bringing you to school early. Probably it's because of ignorance. Oh, Honorable Abdelhamid, please give us your opinion.
To our esteemed guests and to my fellow honorable members, or at least most of us who are doing the right thing today, we are all gathered here to deliberate on the bill, a bill to fine parents for the misbehavior of their students. House, I would like to ask, why didn't we think of this bill before? I believe because it's laughable. This bill is laughable to me. Oh my God. I think the essence of this, the unbribable supporters that have come here, I think the only thing they want to do is to generate revenue for the school. I don't see how finding parents will do a better work than disciplining the parents. And from what I got, if I'm not mistaken, they want to make the learning environment safe by paying fines. And maybe it's because they think that the discipline in Global Kids has failed. Has the discipline in this school failed? No. Then why bringing up the matter of fines here? Our Honorable Aisha talked about late coming to school. She said that when the parents pay 300 naira twice, they will stop bringing you late to school. That anybody that is opposing the bill is a late comer. Yes, let's be late comers. We'll continue to pay 300 naira. What is 300 naira? Said we'll pay it twice and we'll stop coming late. Honorable Speaker, who is here that does not have 600 naira? Who? Anyway, next on And I'm against paying bills for bullying. I don't see how you pay 500 naira. Minority leader, 500 naira, right, for bullying. I don't see how you pay 500 naira for bullying.
Minority leader, please answer his question.
I don't see how you pay 500 naira for bullying and to change anything. And I'm getting there. Calm down. Just sit down. This is the area in the bill that made the least sense to me. You serve as a personal assistant for somebody that you bully. So, let's say for instance, Saad bullies me and I'm afraid of him. So, Honorable Saad will now come and sit next to me and be my personal assistant. Honorable Speaker, to tell you to what extent this bill is poorly thought, that that you should be a personal assistant for somebody that you bully. And they are saying that they are unbribable. They are bringing up this bill so that...
Oh, so you mean that the person that once bullied you, be your personal assistant, is it that you'll be feeling insecure?
Yes.
It will make you safe?
Yes, and they want to enhance a safe learning environment for the students.
Your life will be threatened. Okay, that's what you mean.
Yes. Okay. I don't see how anything the Honorable Speaker has said makes sense. There's no such... Sorry. The honorable members said that made sense. Like honorable testimony. He said selling 20 cigarettes in the school. 20 packets of cigarettes in the school is solely the fault of the parents. You bring 20 cigarettes and sell it in the school. Let's just suppose it's a school like Global Kids. See cameras everywhere. You sell cigarettes and the school does not know about it. It's the fault of the parents. The Right Honorable Deputy Speaker. Okay, let's leave that. Honorable Speaker, I am not at all in support of this bill. I think I've made that clear. I so submit.
Thank you so much for that. He urged our minority and majority leaders to stop using this bill as a means to generate revenue for the school, he said. I think everybody captured that. He said you are using it as a means to generate revenue for the school. It's a scheme to generate revenue for the school. And he also made mention of all the cameras. I think there's no corner in this school that does not have a camera placed there. Oh, order. So what he means is that when the school spots them selling the drugs, is it that they turn a blind eye to them, or they just pretend they didn't see them? And then the parents are now being blamed for it. That is his argument. So what do you think about that? I think I've heard enough arguments for or against this. Okay, there are more contributions. Honorable Majority Leader, please give us your opinion.
My distinguished colleagues, as you know, I still remain the unbribable one. Honorable Sani, I want to ask you a question. Because I told you I am unbribable, that is why you want to bribe me with your words. Because you know you can't bribe me with your money. That is total nonsense. Are you trying to tell me that you don't have interest in your school? That you are saying the school is trying to generate revenue? Or to use, like you did get what the bill was saying. We said rehabilitation centers will be built. We use them to correct children and even parents at large in order to produce useful citizens to the nation. That is what we are saying. We won't use the money to do something. We are using the money for you guys. I mean you, honorables.
Students.
Honorable Sani, I want to give you an instance. There was one lady, she was a professor, really. She went to US for a seminar. When she went there, she usually goes to work at 9, and the time was 8. She has a colleague. They usually go together, but her colleague don't used to go late. After 2 weeks, they were given their salaries, and she received 350,000, while her colleague received 500,000 naira. The woman was like, she was shocked. She brushed to her colleague and asked her, "What did you receive?" And she told her, "I saw 500,000 naira." And she told her, "I was paid at 350,000 naira." She said, "These people are cheats, so I have to go and meet them to ask them why did they pay me this amount of money." When she went there, she was just shouting, "You know Nigerians, how we are." She was just, "Hey, you," she was just shouting anyhow. The officer called her and said, "What are you saying, madam?" She said, "No, sir. They did not pay me my money complete." He now said, "Just come and follow me." And she followed him. When she went there, they didn't do anything. They just on the CCTV camera. She was seeing everything. She usually goes by 8, by 9, and comes out by 12. Whereas the normal time for the closure was at 2. You know, they don't take that rubbish. That was why they were reducing her salary, because she goes late and comes back early. And that was how she was disgraced. If she had the privilege to have good moral upbringing from her parents, she wouldn't have done so. And even though if the parent did not give her good home training, if she was privileged to go to a school like this that imposed fees for misbehaviors, she wouldn't have done so. But you see, she just disgraced herself, and she ended up disgracing our country at large. So please, just agree with me that we are not trying to collect your money, use it for nonsense. We are doing it for all of you here, for your benefits. Madam Speaker, ma'am, I hope you all agree with me that this bill is not a total nonsense. But the way the honorable members sees the bill or understood the bill, they are seeing it as if the bill is nonsense. Whereas the bill is not a nonsense bill. It is their understanding that is nonsense. Madam Speaker, ma, I so submit.
The school. So she said that this bill is a way or a medium for the school to teach some societal values that cannot be taught at home. So please, honorable members, she urged you to stop looking at the bill as a means or medium of generating revenue for the school or extorting the parents. So that was her point. Thank you very much, Honorable Majority Leader. Honorable Abdul Hamid, you said you wanted to counter her point.
Saying our understanding is nonsense is offensive, but it's not as offensive as the bill is. She has given us a story, whether real or fiction, about a woman in the US who suffered a loss of 150 naira. 150,000 naira, a loss there. I can see that we're talking, this is now a discussion about profit or loss. I can see here. As far as I'm concerned, 150 naira is a small price for salvation. If 150,000 naira is a small price for salvation, looking at her caliber, if she had gone to the US for a seminar, she should have put it in her mind that she will come early and she will go late. But if she was to, let's say now, we put it as, anyway, the story that she told me, I'm done with that. Now, she said that the money if eventually the bill is passed as a law, the money that they will get from the parent will be used to build what? To build rehabilitation centers. Okay. We all agree that in Global Kids, we don't break rules every day. students don't. Okay, let's even assume minor rules are broken every day. You get 600 naira per day. How you get, even if it's for a whole session, a whole year, you gather 600 naira per day to not be able to build a rehabilitation center. If you want to change students, you change them the way we've been changing them for years. That's all I have to say. Sorry.
He said that, he suggested that the school should continue the way they have been doing for years, instead of putting money into the matter. Because to him, the money is paining his mind. He does not like anything that has to do with money, that he doesn't want this profit or loss scenario or bill. But everyone is entitled to his or her opinion. Majority leader believes that this bill is profitable. He believes it's a loss to the school. Everyone has the right to think whatever they want to think, which is why I'm still listening to your opinions. Deputy Speaker, give us your opinion.
Right Honorable Speaker, I'm standing up to counter what Honorable Ajara said. She told me that I was wasting my time, and instead of wasting my time, I should leave the seat of Deputy Speaker. Yes, I agree I'm wasting my time, and before I leave the seat, I want us to see if this bill is passed, it will not only save the school, but save the world at large from further ekulabalos and brouhahas in the society. Yes.
Does someone have a dictionary here? Please, let's check if that is a word or he just made it up. Someone please check.
And right Honorable Speaker, Honorable Abdul Hamid said that we should continue using the way we have been changing students for years. If the way we have been using have been working, we will not think about this bill. Because if you continue using a particular trap for one rat, that rat one day will get to know that trap and know how to eat that bait and will escape that rat and will escape the trap. So right Honorable Speaker, I want this bill to be passed no matter what they say. So right Honorable Speaker, as your Deputy Speaker, you know we always agree and I don't want us to fight because of this bill. So right Honorable Speaker, I so submit.
You were just giving an example. Okay, so he said that according to common sense, and my Deputy Speaker, he said that if you keep using one method to catch a rat, the rat will become wise now. If you keep placing rat poison, sure the rat will know that it is rat poison while they are still eating it. Okay, so thank you very much for your example or your contribution. So who else wants to speak? Honorable Mufida. Sir?
Okay. I still remain the spokesperson of this legislative chamber. The Deputy Speaker said that parents can be fined for sleeping at home. If parents should be fined for sleeping at home, you will not be able to speak English the way you do. That said aside, I have a serious problem with prayer 1. It said that if a student insults a teacher and repeats it 3 more times, the student shall be suspended or expelled, I think. Why are we giving the students 3 chances to insult a teacher? I don't understand. Are teachers not our parents? If you insult your mother, would she tell you, you have 2 more chances? If you insult me twice again, I'll abandon you. How can you give a child 2 chances to insult a teacher? Once the child insults a teacher, it should be punished mercilessly. That will show that the teachers are as important as parents. That's Honorable Speaker, I so submit.
Yeah, so that is your view on prayer 1, that the chances are too much. So you prefer that the first time a student attempts to insult a teacher should just be fined and suspended. That's what you mean? Okay, I understand your point. After all the arguments have been made for or against the promotion of this bill, I have listened to you, I have understood, I have summarized. You all came up with very wonderful points, which shows that this bill is a very exciting one. So I would like to move on for the voice vote. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. So, clerk, please read out the next agenda for the. So, I would like to call on former Right Honorable Telba to give us her honor speech.
Chairperson and the leader of GKA SRA, Right Honorable Hamid Etsani, and other honorable members here present, the proprietor, the director of studies, and other sectional heads, my amiable teacher, Mr. Ambrose Dangi, and my one and only mentor, Mr. Jimo Abdul Malik. Other teachers here present, good day to you all. Honestly, I am honored, I am highly delighted to be here today. I have always known my school to be the great school. I salute your administration, sir. I salute your management and the good work. God bless you, sir. Honorable Speaker and other honorable members, I am happy for you that you are part of this great honorable house. It is great indeed. I am not just wallowing my tongue about SRA. I am talking as an ex-speaker of the SRA of this school. There are so many benefits you will get by being an active member of this parliament. They are too numerous to be mentioned. Among them are leadership experience, communication skills, negotiation skills, team working skills, problem-solving skills, organizational skills, presentation skills, decision-making skills, and lots more. That's by the way anyway. Honorable Speaker and the chairperson of SRA of GKA, indeed, your choices to be part of this SRA will be very defining. As Colin R. Davis says, the road to success and road to failure are almost exactly the same. Your choice to follow the right path is why you are here today. You have been nurtured, equipped, and trained to solve the problems bedeviling our school today of GKA. Here is my take on the bill debated here today. I would like to go with the payment of fines for indiscipline and misbehavior. From my experience, anything that fine is attached to is usually taken very seriously. And for the issue of bullying, appropriate punishments should be designed for that. But for both cases, consistency and flexibility should be employed. With that, it has been a pleasure being with all of you here today. Thank you very much. I remain Halima Abubakar Telba.
Thank you very much.
Right Honorable Speaker Ma, the next agenda for the day to be discussed is announcements.
Okay. So I would like to make an announcement to all the distinguished members that are present in the house now. After the session, you are to wait outside for the pictures for the SRA album. Okay. So the next agenda.
Right Honorable Speaker Ma, the next agenda for the day to be discussed is move for adjournment.
Okay, I would like to move for adjournment. So I would like to call on the able majority leader to adopt the adjournment for today's session.
Honorable Speaker Ma, I still remain the majority leader of this honorable house, and I move the motion for the adjournment of the discussion of the business of the day. Thank you.
Okay, minority leader, please second.
Right Honorable Speaker, I, Honorable Abdullahi Fauzia, the minority leader, move a motion to second to the adjournment of the business of the day. Thank you.
Thank you, able minority leader. I would like to call on for a voice vote for the adjournment of today's session. Those in support for the adjournment of today's session, say aye. Aye. Those against, say nay. Nay. What do you want again? The ayes have it.